it's me, Kirsty. We are on to video number 2, which is all about food at Disneyland Paris. There are a lot of options in Disneyland Paris, but nowhere near as many options as Disney World, which if you've ever been to both, you will probably know. If you've been to Disney World before but not been to Disneyland Paris, just be prepared that the choice isn't as vast in Paris. So there is a lot less option, and the quality of option isn't as great as Disney World, and I'm sure Disneyland California as well, which we've not been to, but I've heard good things about the food. One of my best topics, my 2 best subjects are Disney and food, so probably one of the longer ones that we might film. Where to start? I think I'll start with quick service, counter service type stuff. There is several different outlets in the parks, more so in Disneyland Park than there is in the Studios Park. We have only been to one in the Studios Park. As you go through the main hangar sort of studio part, it's in there. It's a big one on the right hand side, just kind of standard theme park burgers. So that's one of the ones we've been to. It was average. That's the kind of main thing really. But we find that the menus aren't very varied in the quick service, although the kind of theme changes. It's mostly just prefix menus where you have like a main course or an entree, a dessert and a drink, but the choice isn't the best, so we tend to kind of steer away from quick service inside the parks. Our favourite thing for like a quick meal or a quick lunch is Earl Sandwich, which is in the Disneyland Village. It is just really basic sandwiches, kind of like grilled, like warm, but they're really, really good. There is also a Earl Sandwich in Disney World and Disney Springs, but we haven't been there, so I can't compare it. Just have a nice warm sandwich. There's a lot of seating, there's downstairs and upstairs if you want to sit in. We kind of tend to take sandwiches back to the hotel, or what we often do is get a sandwich for the train home. So we pick up, oh, sorry, a bug. We pick up a sandwich as we're sort of heading out, stick it in the bag and then have it on the train home. It's usually still a bit warm by the time we get there, so it is really nice. Just kind of nice fill-in sandwich to have on the train home. So that's Earl Sandwich. That's the other kind of quick service options that you have outside in the Disney Village. There is a Five Guys, which obviously it's just standard as what we have for Five Guys here. The only thing is the drinks aren't refillable, so just remember that. They have a barcode on the bottom of the cups that means that you can't refill your drink with the Coke Freestyle machines that they have there. That can get really, really busy. We have been once before there where we went after the nighttime show and it was crazy busy. The queue was probably at least half an hour long, I would say, like right out through the doors. So probably avoid that last thing at night. What's the other? Oh, McDonald's. There's a McDonald's there, which is McDonald's standard. It's got the machines where you can just choose what you want, and then you go up and collect your order. Again, loads of seats. We went there a couple of times last time we went in January, just because it's easy and it's not always super busy, but you kind of have to time things right in Paris because there are more limited number of choices. I think you do have to kind of get the time right, because otherwise you could be queuing for like hours for things, which obviously is what we did wrong when we went to Five Guys after the show. So those are your kind of quick service options that we've been to. Obviously, like I said, there are quite a few more in the parks, but we don't tend to go to them just because we find that there's better choices outside of the parks. So next I'm going to talk about some table service restaurants. Again, choice isn't huge, and we have only been to one table service restaurant in the actual parks. We went to Chez Remy, which is the Ratatouille themed restaurant in Walt Disney Studios in the sort of Ratatouille area. The theming is great. It's kind of the premises that you're shrunk down to the size of a rat, and beer mats or beer bottle tops and things like that, and there's like plates on the wall that are 8 foot tall. So the theming is really good. Our experience wasn't great. It's a really highly sought after restaurant, so reservations are kind of hard to come by. We got in because I think we went on like a Monday afternoon and there was a cancellation, so we kind of got in on that. It's like, again, like a prefix menu, which most of Disneyland Paris seems to be. I think it was about £50 a head, but the food just wasn't top notch, and I would have wanted more for what we paid for it. So just found it a little bit lacking in quality of food. Would you agree? Yeah. And because of that experience, we've not really gone to any other table service restaurants inside the parks, just because we found that the quality wasn't that good. The one that we maybe could potentially think about trying is the I don't know what it's called, but it's the restaurant that's inside Pirates of the Caribbean. But again, it would just be for the theming, because it's a really unique setting, and it is just as the kind of boats launch on the ride. And the tables are all sort of on the left hand side, but again, the price is too much, and I don't think the quality of the food would kind of match up to the price again. So for us, it's probably not something that we would try. But there are plenty of different people that might have had different experiences, and if you've had any kind of good experiences and good suggestions, if you can put them in the comments below, that would be great. We can kind of get people's opinions and see what it is, because this is only our opinion, so it's not absolutely correct, but it's just our kind of experiences that I thought we'd share. My next table service restaurant that I'm going to talk about probably isn't a table service restaurant in the truest sense of the phrase, because you do actually go up and get your food yourself, but it's all on proper plates, proper cutlery, sit down at a proper table, proper glassware and stuff like that. So I'm classing it in that bracket. It's Vapianos. It's good Italian food, pasta, pizza, salad. So there's a station for each kind of type. You go up and order what you want. So it's usually fairly quick, pretty cheap. I mean, for both of us, we usually end up spending about €30 for a meal with a drink each, sometimes 2 drinks. When you go in, you get given like a little gift card almost, which when you order your food, you put on a sensor. It tells the card what food you've had and what you've ordered. So every time you order something, you put your card down, it totals it up at the end, you give it to the waiter or waitress at the end, and that determines your kind of bill at the end. You pay for it as you leave. But for us, it's really good because it's really big, there's plenty of choice, and usually we kind of tend to go in sort of early evening so that the rush isn't too busy, and get a table really easily, get served pretty quickly. There is one exception to that, where I queued up for pasta and Ben had queued up for pizza, and the pasta stations, they make everything in front of you as they go, so each person makes their own, or the chef makes their own pasta dish for them, so you can end up queuing for ages. If there is 9 or 10 people in front of you, you could be waiting for 9 or 10 pasta dishes, if not more, to be made, because most people tend to go up and get food for their family. So you might have mum or dad that are getting pasta dishes for like 4 people. So I think I ended up queuing at least 45 minutes for some pasta once, which I wouldn't do again. I'll only get pasta if there's like no one in the queue, because by the time I'd got mine, Ben had kind of finished his pizza, because the pizza, they just give you a buzzer, so as soon as your pizza's ready, you just go back and get it. And obviously the timings can kind of vary on that depending on how busy they are, so we've always then tried to kind of steer away from Vapianos when it's crazy busy, just because obviously the time difference, or we just both get pizza because it's a lot easier. You just get your buzzer and sit down, rather than standing up queuing with a tray. So but that is definitely our go-to kind of hot meal, is Vapianos, just because it is good quality, it's nice, it's hot, it's filling, and it kind of sets you up for an evening in the parks and watching all the shows and stuff. So really like Vapianos, definitely recommend people to go there. Just to explain how you actually get to Vapianos, it's in the Disney Village. as you come out of the parks into Disney Village, World of Disney is kind of on your sort of right hand side, and you have to leave Disney Village to the right of the Disney store. You go out of the bag check area, and then there's Five Guys and Vapianos just there. Obviously it's not far, it's only a couple of minute walk, but you just have to go outside of that security barrier, which some people may not actually realise. Just want to give a little mention to a couple of the other table service restaurants that we have been to in Disney Village. Rainforest Cafe and Planet Hollywood, which are kind of two other main options for table service food. They are fine. They can be quite expensive for the actual food, and the quality isn't comparable to their counterparts in America. The Rainforest Cafe that we went to in Disney Springs was much better than the one that we've been to in Disneyland Paris, even though we have been there a couple of times, just because sometimes it's the only place you can get into. And exactly the same for the Planet Hollywood. It's just not quite up to standard of Florida Planet Hollywood, so it is a little bit different, but it's kind of theme parkish type food, American type fare, which is fine, but it's not always the tastiest option that you've got. I would 100% go to Vapianos over either of those two now that we kind of discovered it. So we kind of discovered it, what, 3 or 4 trips ago, and that is definitely the place that we kind of head to now for a hot kind of evening meal, which is when you're only there for a couple of days. Having that a couple of times isn't the end of the world, so we tend to do that now. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is Disneyland Paris snacks. Again, not as great a variety as there is in Florida, but there are options. First thing, I think the first snack that we had when we went to Disneyland Paris was from the ice cream parlour, just on the corner at the top of Main Street. I think it's called Gibson Girl Ice Cream Parlour. Sells Ben & Jerry's ice cream kind of by the scoop, top or cone, but really nice and refreshing on a hot summer's day. Not quite as enjoyable in the winter, but definitely something that I'd recommend for the summer. Really nice treat. So that's our kind of first snack option. Crepes in the winter, a nice hot crepe with Nutella in the middle is delicious. Kind of warms up your hands as well while you're holding it, which is really good. The main place that we tend to kind of get snacks from is the bakery on Main Street. Get a lot of cookies. Cookies are really good from there. As you go through the arcades by the bakery, they like emit the smell of freshly baked cookies, and it is the best smell in the world. It's so nice. And the cookies don't quite compare to the smell, but they are nice nonetheless. So we tend to kind of go and sit in there if we can, or take them out and like get a little hot chocolate and a cookie and take them out and sit in the arcade. There's quite a lot of benches through the arcade, so we kind of tend to go in there a little bit for a little sit down, a little bit of a respite. We sometimes get some drinks from Casey's Corner as well and do the same on the other side. What other snacks are there? Not loads more. Oh, the pineapple thing. So in Disneyland Paris, they have their version of a Dole Whip. It's not the same. It is vanilla soft serve ice cream with pineapple juice in it, and then they put like a pineapple syrup in it as well to make it even more sweet pineapple-y. It's not Dole branded, so it isn't Dole Whip, but it is a pineapple soft serve drink. It was quite nice, it was quite enjoyable, but it isn't a Dole Whip, so if you're expecting it to be a Dole Whip, it's not, but it was still quite enjoyable. We got that from in Adventureland. As you go through, there's the toilets on your right hand side as you go sort of through the entrance, and the cart was just past the toilets by the Agrabah Cafe entrance, so it was there. They only have it in the summer. They've never had it in the winter, have they? I've never seen it, because I don't think you'd probably want soft serve and pineapple juice in the winter, but definitely in the summer they tend to have it. I think it was like €5 or something like that, but it's a good alternative. It's not the same, but it is still nice. It's still nice, definitely. We kind of sat around the area and had a little drink there. I Just trying to think of any other snacks that we have. Popcorn, tend to grab a bit of popcorn usually, but
there's like seasonal things that they bring out.
yeah.
The Avatar Starfed, the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, when we went for the
generally just cookie with icing.
Yeah, or donuts with icing and like a little sticker. You know, like the cupcake boxes that you used to get as a kid with the like rice paper, like something like that stuck on the top, or a fondant something stuck on the top. When we went for the 25th anniversary, we went I think 3 times that year. There were a lot of blue donuts, just plain ring donuts with blue icing on the top.
The only thing I regret getting is the Thor gauntlet. Not Thor.
Thanos.
Gauntlet.
Yeah.
With the drink. So
yes.
The drink in it.
Yeah, they had like refillable drink things with a gauntlet. But other than that, there's not really that much snack option, is there? In the summer, there's like little ice cream vendors around, so you can get the. They don't do Mickey Premium bars. They do like Twisters. And like Magnums.
Around Christmas they have like the French markets.
Like in the winter they have like a French Christmas market almost near Ratatouille.
And also out in
the Disneyland Disney Village area, where they have like Christmas market stalls. So they'll do like mulled wine, hot chocolate, loads of different kind of like snacks. It's almost like a mini food and wine festival at Christmas in Disneyland Paris, and not as good as that, not as good quality, but there's still, you know, something a little bit different that you can get from there, which is always nice to try. And yeah, I think that's about it for snacks really. So that kind of concludes our little food section. On the whole, it's not amazing, but there are options and you can have things to eat. You'll never be hungry.
It's good compared to other theme parks, but compared to Walt Disney World. That's
it. For Disney, in comparison to other theme parks, it's better, but in comparison to Disney World, it's not quite up to that standard. And everyone says that Disney World's food isn't up to Disneyland California standards. So I can imagine that if you've been there, Disneyland Paris would probably be super disappointing. But like I say, you'll never go hungry. There's always something that you can have. And there's always different options that you can have. So yeah, definitely fine, not great. If you do want to have some kind of other food, there is the Val d'Europe shopping centre, which is one stop away, like I spoke about in the hotel section. That has a few food options there. There's like a Burger King and stuff upstairs, I think. It is huge. We've not explored everything that's there. But there is
designer outlet.
There's a designer outlet at the back, which is huge. But there's also an Auchan supermarket, which if you wanted some kind of essentials you could absolutely get. We've kind of popped in there before and got like croissants and stuff for the morning. So that is your kind of, I would say maybe like last resort option if you don't want any theme park food basically. But all in all, it's fine. You'll never be hungry. So that's closing out video 2. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to get some more videos like this in the future. We'll be doing some trip videos as soon as we can possibly get to a trip, so keep a lookout for those and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of any new videos. If there's anything that you think I could maybe use as feedback, if you can leave in the comments below. It is my first time. We're very, very new to vlogging, so any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell.